Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabilah binti Ismail and I am from BBA Islamic Finance Semester 6. Today I would like to present about my final year project. Title is The Application of Maslahah Towards the Imposition of Ta'wid in Islamic Banking in Malaysia. Firstly, I will start with introduction. As we know, Islamic bank institutions are based on Sharia rules to ensure it is free from the three elements, which is gharar, maisir and riba. Late payment penalty in Islamic bank institutions is seen to be the same with fines imposed by conventional banks. But in today's Islamic banking context, this charge is replaced with an alternative known as ta'wid and gharamah. Ta'wid is compensation and gharamah is penalty. This late payment charges mechanism is implemented in Islamic banking institutions following the guidelines issued by Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM). Ta'wid imposition to a debtor is based on ijtihad made by Sharia advisor of bank as a maslahah where it is always used to resolve modern Muslim problems. Before we going further, let us take a look on concept of ta'wid. So, what is ta'wid? Ta'wid is originated from the word iwad. According to Bank Negara Malaysia, ta'wid is claim for compensation arising from the actual loss suffered by the financier due to the delay in payment of financing amount by the customer. Ta'wid is stipulated to cover the costs that are related to the late payment. And the main objective of imposition of ta'wid is to avoid injustice to the property owner and to uphold the necessity for fulfilling trust and a contract. Next one is Maslahah. Maslahah is referring to seeking benefits and repelling harm. And there are three types based on its purpose. And they are Daruriyat, Hajiyat and Tahsiniyat. With the drastic changes in society, technology, politics and economics, Maslahah plays an essential role in reforming Islamic practices. Hence, many resolutions from fatwas, bodies and Islamic rules are based on Maslahah. The elements of Maslahah towards late payment charges that are often backed by banking practitioners and contemporary fuqaha in permissible its application are: the first one is free from usury. The allegations of ta'wid is similar to usury is rejected because the imposition of ta'wid in Islamic banking institutions is an alternative to things involving usury. The reason is usury occurs in matters of exchange or ribawi with ribawi items and money with money. This is different from ta'wid because engaged on the exchange of money with goods. The goods can be in different properties and different types. Thus, it is clear that ta'wid imposition is an alternative to reject on usury plus an effort to restrain bigger harm. The second one is justice. Justice can be upheld by making ta'wid an alternative to usury. Usury is a contract that oppresses consumers by charging excessive that only benefits one party. There is no doubt delaying the right of its owner intentionally and defaulting it without any Sharia plea is unjust, and wrong are provided in Sharia text. The objectives of this research is to explore whether or not Maslahah application towards the imposition of ta'wid is in line with its concept and objective, and to discuss differences of the imposition of ta'wid and riba is imposed by conventional banking. Now we move to research methodology. This paper focuses on a qualitative study. The method used to the data is by library search. Periodicals are the best single source of information because there are thousands of publications covering almost all subjects. Periodical sources research is used as secondary data to find the pieces of information regarding the definition, the concept of ta'wid, the maslahah concept and the concept of riba. Finding and discussions. To achieve a fair Islamic economic system, Sharia outlined various guidelines to ensure that the objective of Islamic financial and economic aspects can be achieved effectively. By providing a list of guidelines, it must be followed and implemented. Firstly, I will explain about how the imposition of ta'wid differ from riba. In conventional banking, the late payment charge of a loan is about 2% to 5% of the total loan outstanding. Conventional banks used compounded rates charged, and the penalty will be included in the loan amount. If there is a further penalty, it will be pegged to the percentage of the original loan amount. Whereas in Islamic banks, ta'wid rate is charged at 1% and it is non-compounding. Thus, it is lower than conventional banking charges. Next, law of ta'wid imposition. There are different opinions on the importance of ta'wid in Islamic banking in this modern time. However, the difference is only from the flow of money, which is whether the compensation charge can be utilized by the bank as profit or to be channeled to charity to avoid from non-sharia compliant, which is riba. The reason behind essential of ta'wid is based on Maslahah Musalah to remove harm to Islamic banks, or known as mafsadah. It harms activities of banks indirectly, whether in terms of financing and development of the economy. Categories of debtors. In the context of the background of customers and capabilities, the customers are categorized in two, which are musir and mu'sir. Musir is capable debtor and mu'sir is incapable debtor. Musir or capable of paying debtor, by intentionally delaying the payment, the musir can be imposed penalties as a lesson to him and the community. Thus, the ta'wid stipulation on delinquent debtors adheres to the maqasid syariah in deterring oppression and loss of others' rights. If the debtor is incapable of paying it on time, even though he is determined and worked hard to fulfill his debt obligation, he is regarded as mu'sir, which means incapable to pay his payment of debt. Also, the debtor is considered as mu'sir category if a natural disaster causes unbearable difficulties, circumstance, catastrophe in financial and social. Conclusion. Sharia ruling does allow the imposition of ta'wid in Islamic banks, and the rules are outlined by Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia. Through the study, it found that ta'wid and riba are two different things and are not similar to each other. The main objective of imposition ta'wid is to avoid injustice to the property owner and to uphold the necessity for fulfilling trust and a contract. Unlike riba, the charges are oppressed the customers and thus leads to injustice. The wisdom of ta'wid is to overcome the problem of payment faced by Islamic banks in Malaysia. The scholars and mujtahid used Maslahah approach to solve today's problems, which is not found in the Al-Quran and Hadith, such as the ta'wid imposition. As for law and determination of ta'wid rate of late payment is based on Maslahah Musalah, which is public interest to eliminate harm and prevent losses. The ta'wid principle celebrates both customers and banks. It proves that the Islamic financial institutions are capable to be competitive with conventional banking, which exploits customers. Nevertheless, the Islamic banking in Malaysia need to improve from time to time on the implementation of late payment as one alternative to prevent a customer from taking advantage of delaying their payment debt, and needs further research on the effects of ta'wid imposition in reducing the non-performing loans.